How did Emeka fall in love with Nneka? Well, let's find out. In a city of Owerri called Douglas, there lived a young man, Emeka. Emeka's fingers ached from the day's work. The grease embodied deep under his nails. He had spent the last 10 hours bent over engines and car parts, fixing what seems like an endless line of vehicles that came through his small mechanic shop in the heart of the city. The noise, the heat, the smell of motor oil, it was all part of his life now. At 28, Emeka had learned to live with grand-facing cars. Wasn't glamorous, but it paid the bills. And for the first time in years, he felt like he was getting somewhere, slowly but surely. As he packed up his tools and wiped his hands on an old rag, he noticed a girl standing outside his shop. She was young, about 23 years old. Her clothes were simple, but something about her radiated intelligence, a quiet elegance that Emeka hasn't seen in a long time. She was waiting near his workshop, clutching a book to her chest. Curiosity, Emeka walked over. "Can I help you?" he asked, startled at the first, before a smile broke through. "I'm sorry to disturb you. I was wondering if you could help me," she said, her voice soft but confident. Emeka titled his head, unsure of what she meant. "Help you? With what? I have heard that you are a good mechanic," she said, her smile growing. "I have a car at home that's broken down. My parents don't have the money to fix it, but I was hoping you might be able to take a look." "I'm Emeka," he said, extending his hand. "I will take a look at it. Don't worry about the money. It is the least I can do." The girl's eyes widened in the surprise. "Really? You are so kind. My name is Nneka." "Thank you, Emeka." And just like that, they began talking, and simple favor led to the beginning of a friendship that would change both of their lives forever. Over the next few weeks, Emeka and Nneka friendship blossomed. She would come by his shop whenever she had a chance, mostly after school, and they would talk for hours. Nneka was incredibly intelligent, and as they discussed life, dreams, and everything in between, Emeka found himself drawn to her in a way he hadn't expected. Nneka wasn't just beautiful, though that was undeniable. She had a fire in her, a hunger for something more than what life had given her. She had dreams, big ones. Her passion for learning was evident in everything she said. Emeka would listen with awe as she described her dream of becoming a nurse. Despite her bright future, there was sadness in her eyes whenever she spoke of her family's inability to support her education. Emeka could see how much it hurt her, how much she longed for an opportunity to prove herself. He admired her strength, her determination to keep moving forward despite the obstacles life had thrown at her. Every time he saw her, he felt a pull in his chest. It was more than just attraction, it was admiration. He wanted to help her to make her dream come true, even if he didn't quite know how. One evening, as the sun dipped below the horizon, and the last of the day's light faded into the night. Nneka called Emeka. Her voice was shaky, and there was a hint of urgency in her tone. Emeka, can we meet? There is something important I need to talk to you about. Emeka's heart skipped a bit. He had grown to care deeply for her, and the thought of something troubling her mood, his chest tightened. Without hesitation, he locked up his shop, hopped into his old car, and drove to meet her. When Emeka arrived, he found Nneka waiting for him by the side of the road. Her figure silhouetted by the dim glow of the street lamp. She looked nervous, passing back and forth. As he approached, she stopped and turned to face him. Her eyes were wide, filled with a mix of hope and fear. Emeka could see the turmoil in her face, and it made his heart ache. Nneka, what's going on? Emeka asked gently, his voice full of concern. Nneka took a deep breath, and for the first time in their friendship, seemed to struggle with her words. Emeka, I have been thinking a lot about my future, about my dreams. I want to go to the university. I want to study nursing, but I don't have the money. My parents, they can't afford it, and I don't know what to do. Emeka felt a pang of sympathy for her. He knew how much it meant to her. He had listened to her dream for months, and now, seeing her so vulnerable, he couldn't help but want to help. I want you to help me, Nneka continued, her voice barely above a whisper. I have been thinking, maybe you could help me pay for school. You know how much this means to me, Emeka. I have always wanted to be a nurse. And when I finish school, we can get married. You and I will have a future together. Emeka stood frozen, his mind racing. The idea of Nneka marrying him one day was a thought he had entertained in his dream. But hearing her say it out loud felt overwhelming. You want me to pay for your education and then we will get married? Emeka asked slowly, his voice uncertain. Nneka nodded her eyes, pleading. Yes, I know it is a big ask, but I believe in us. I believe in our future together. Emeka's mind spun. He had always cared for Nneka, but this was a huge commitment. He thought of his life. He thought of his life, his job, his struggles, his lack of wealth. Could he really provide for her? Could he give her the future she deserved? I don't want to train you, Nneka, and then have you marry someone else, Emeka said. Finally, his voice filled with quiet intensity. If I do this, I need to know that you are committed, not just to your studies, but to me, to us. Nneka's eyes softened. Emeka, I'm not asking for anything less. I love you. I have always loved you. When I finish school, we will be together, I promise. Emeka spent the next few days torn. His heart wanted to say yes, to make Nneka's dreams come true. But his mind was filled with doubt. Could he afford it? Could he handle the pressure? He was just a mechanic, not a wealthy man. But Nneka was the love of his life, and he couldn't bear the thought of her dream slipping away. Finally, after the long night of reflection, Emeka made up his mind. He would help Nneka. He would do whatever it took to see her succeed, to help her become the nurse she so desperately wanted to be. But he need her commitment too. He need to know that she wouldn't walk away from him when things got tough. Emeka wants Nneka to go to the hospital with him and do their genotype and blood group test. The next day, he found Nneka sitting in the same spot by the roadside where they had met before. Nneka, Emeka said, I will help you, but I want us to go to the hospital and do tests for our genotype and our blood group. His voice steady but full of emotion. I will help you. I will pay for your education, for your dream, but you need to promise me something. You and I, we are in this together, not just for your study, but for our future. If we are going to do this, it has to be because we love each other and because you are committed to me just as I am to you. Tears welled up Nneka's eyes. I promise, Emeka, I swear, I am committed. I will never let you down. Emeka smiled, a weight lifting from his shoulder. Emeka smiled, a weight lifting from his shoulders. He had made the right choice. Together, they would build a future. And so, Emeka set out to fulfill his promise to Nneka, one that would change both of their lives forever. Emeka and Nneka went to the hospital to check their genotype, and as God may help, everything was fine. Emeka was AA and Nneka also AA. Their blood group matched for each other. Their genotype matched for each other. Months passed. Nneka threw herself into her studies, and Emeka worked harder than ever to support her. He knew it wasn't going to be easy, but every time he saw Nneka's face light up with excitement about her future, it made it all worth it. As the years went by, Nneka graduated with honor, and Emeka stood by her side, proud of the woman she had become. Their love had been tested, but it had grown stronger. And one day, when Nneka stood in her nurse uniform, ready to start her career, Emeka knew that the sacrificial aim had triumphed over all the challenges they faced. This is the story of Nneka and Emeka.